Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog, so let's get to it. I guess we got an update story. Very first opening story today. I'm sure you guys already know what it's about. It would be about Chloe and Lamar. And when I talked to you guys last week about this, I really felt somber and didn't think that the ending was going to end like this. However, I guess a bit of good news. First of all, Lamar Odom is out of his coma. He is out of the hospital in Las Vegas. He is now at Cedars-Sinai in Los Angeles with quite a bit of work left to do. However, he is expected to survive. Like I said, the rehabilitation and the road back to recovery is going to be extensive, but yes, they believe that he will survive. We're still not sure on what type of neurological brain damage that's been done, if there has been any, but they're saying that he's got to learn how to walk again and some other things. They say that he needs a kidney transplant. So yeah, there's been quite a bit of damage done. However, the best news today is that he is expected to survive. So with that all being said, there was all this talk about Khloe Kardashian being there, that she is still his wife. They had both signed the divorce papers. However, because of the backlog in the court system in Los Angeles, the judge had not signed the paperwork. Well, they said yesterday that Khloe and Lamar decided to call off the divorce. She had her lawyer go into the courts and withdraw the paperwork. The judge did grant that. And as of now, Courtney and Lamar are still married. Now, I don't know exactly what that means. Of course, the blogs and the media, everyone is saying that means that they're back on, that they're both together, that she's put her relationship with James Harden on hold, that she's going to be there 100% for her husband. Listen, I don't know exactly if that's what it is. Nobody's come out with any definitive statements saying that that's what it is. As far as I know right now, all it means is that the divorce is off. It could mean a few things. It could mean that maybe they don't want to put this extra stress of knowing that the divorce is finally finalized on Lamar Odom while he is trying to recover. And maybe if he doesn't have that on his mind, maybe he's able to recover a little bit quicker, or not quicker, but with just less stress on the mind. Maybe once he's back healthy, whatever healthy might be, once he's back to some semblance of himself, maybe then they can go forward. It could also very well mean that she's giving him another chance. Let's see if you can get this together. If you can get your life back together, then we can probably work it out. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they are 100% back together, that she's in the house with him, that, you know what I mean? It just could mean that they've decided to put that part on hold while they concentrate on his recovery. So while it would be such a wonderful fairy tale and quite a romantic ending to such a tragic story, I just don't know exactly if that means that the two of them are together. Now, would I like to see the two of them together? I think that I would like to see the two of them together. I think that Khloe loves Lamar. I know that Lamar loves Khloe. And if they can get through all of the other bullshit of the outside, the stresses of her family, the stresses of his addictions, his family, they have a lot to deal with. But if they can just kind of try to section themselves away and try to work on it, then maybe it can happen. But it's difficult. People are asking if she moved too quickly. Well, only she knows that. We only know what we see in the media. We don't know what happens behind closed doors. We don't know the conversations that they've had. We don't know ultimately what it was that was holding her back from putting the divorce through. I mean, it's a lot more to it that we don't know. People listen to what the media says and they just run with it. And I get it. It's just like we've got to keep our names in the news, and we got to keep ourselves current and all of that. However, a lot of the things that you hear in the news is not 100% accurate. I just am glad that he's recovered, because I'm telling you, or should I say survived. He's not quite recovered yet, but I'm glad that he survived, because last week I didn't see it. I told you guys that I didn't think that it was going to be a good ending to this. I expected almost that this was going to happen after his two best friends had overdosed, and shit just seemed like it was getting out of hand. So yes, I am very, very surprised, but the prayers of the righteous, y'all, okay, handala shanda busha. just think that it's a wonderful thing. We'll see what happens with Chloe and Lamar. We'll see what happens. That's all I'm gonna say. Now, do you think that she's acted too soon? Do you realize that media takes stories and runs with it, and most of the time it's probably not all that much accurate? You guys leave all of your comments about that below. But I guess what I mainly want to say is keep your head up, Lamar. We're gonna hope and pray that he can recover and be back to the man that we all know that he can be. Guys, Meek Mill versus Wale. I swear I be trying to retire Meek Mill and Nicki Minaj and Beyonce and the Kardashians and all of that, and they just worm their way back in. I'm not talking about the title concert because I didn't see it. Fuck, I saw enough of the clips on Instagram of just Beyonce and Nicki Minaj. I was so over it. I'm sorry. I love both of them. I didn't see it, so there will be no discussion about it today. However, this damn Meek Mill and Wale shit I have to talk about. You guys, I just don't know what to say about Meek Mill. Okay, first of all, let me back up. Wale was on the Breakfast Club. They were asking him about, among other things, but they were asking him about the beef between Meek Mill and Drake. Wale did explain that he felt that Meek Mill was in no ways prepared for that battle. That I think his wording was that he bought a pencil to a gunfight. Okay, tried to paper cut him to death. That's what he said. And yes, we all agree on that. You know, Meek Mill definitely lost that battle. Those of us who are extreme Meek Mill fans don't want to admit that, but that's what it is. Don't mean that we hate Meek Mill or anything like that. You just lost, homie. You just lost. Okay, take the L and move on. And it looked like Meek Mill had moved on. However, when Wale went onto the Breakfast Club and said what he said, among other things, I will say he did say some things about how he's been trying to get in touch with Meek Mill and he hasn't been answering the phone and he don't know if there's some beef there or whatever. You know, they're label mates. They're both on Maybach Music, and that label owner is Rick Ross, we already know. The interview was basically them asking him a bunch of questions and Wale answered them truthfully. Now, if I was going to be honest with you guys, I will say this. When you are in a family or you're part of a group, I guess your loyalty should probably come to that group first, which means that if Meek Mill and Wale are on this label, Maybach Music, and we know that there's been some history of at least some tension between the two of them. Some would say an all-out beef. Meek Mill has had problems with Wale in the past. He didn't tweet his album. He doesn't support him. You know, this, that, and the other. There has been history between the two of them. However, if the two of them are on this label and they're supposed to be family or whatever, then it probably wasn't the best idea to go on the radio and be truthful to that extent. Especially when you know that your label mate is extremely emotional, in his feelings quite a bit, almost bitch made. I mean, I won't say it all together, but you know, he has quite the resemblance to somebody who was bitch made. So even though Wale wasn't lying and we all agreed with Wale, probably wasn't the best idea to get on the radio and do it. So I can understand why Meek Mill, being Meek Mill, the way that he operates, would act out the way that he did. You would think that he would have learned from the shit that he's been through with Drake, but obviously he hasn't. So he gets on Twitter or Instagram and he goes off. He calls Wale broke. He says that he's a bitch. He's not in MMG anymore. You know, that he was gonna make the call, making it seem like all he had to do was call Rick Ross and be like, hey, get rid of him, okay, because he ain't fam. He talking about me on the radio. He also tells him to find a roof and jump off of it. Okay, we know that Wale has expressed in the past feelings of suicide. You know, I think what happened here was Meek Mill was at home. He heard the Breakfast Club interview and he immediately got on and reacted. Nobody will say that Meek Mill is a strategist, okay? He does not sit down and think about the things that he does. He just reacts. And while you can only appreciate people that are like that, when you are in this hip-hop game and when you are a rapper where it is very important to keep your street credibility and keep this whole persona of always ahead of the game and, you know, knowing how to react and coming back at people and things like that, you know, he don't do it too well. Okay? He gets on Twitter yesterday, Instagram, he is making an ass of himself. He's saying all kind of things. He's posting all kind of things. And of course, it just leaves it open for everybody to comment about him and say that, you know, that he's a bitch and that he's corny and he's in his feelings and here he go with the Twitter fingers and all of that again. Yeah, not a good look. look, okay, he does tell us that he's going to get off of Twitter and Instagram, but after this rant, okay, it's just, gosh, I wish Meek Mill will get back to the business of making music. I know that Drake could have gone way further with that beef. It was obvious he didn't want to go there, and that Meek Mill, it had kind of dragged him into it. He left it alone. Once Meek Mill left it alone, we done moved on from that. Okay, but for Meek Mill to get himself back involved with this shit with Wale, it's just a bad look, homie. It's a bad look. And this is coming from somebody who is not in the hip-hop game in no kind of way. I can look at this and tell that this is not a good move for you, Meek Mill. Somebody from his team needs to sit him down and get him to understand that, you know, even though you are just expressing how you feel, you need a better way to come at somebody with, you know, it's just too much. But yeah, like I said, Wale getting on the radio and talking bad about it, that, you know, that might not be the best way to. It was undercover shady. People say he was just keeping it real and all of that. You know, well, keeping it real still don't mean that it can't be shady and that the other person won't take it a certain kind of way. Folks got this whole thinking that if they telling the truth or if they coming out and saying some shit, then that should make it okay. Well, no, because you have to deal with the circumstances as they come back towards you. People will have a reaction and they're gonna say something, they're gonna do something. So, you know, Wale has his part in it too. Now, when they talked to Rick Ross's whole feelings on it was that these were the little homies, his brothers. They on the label. This is an empire that he's building. It's going to be MMG forever. Well, I took that to mean that, oh, they just tripping over there, them the kids, they acting out, but it's all good. They all still under MMG. Ain't nobody make no calls and tell a motherfucker to put them off the label. This is about business. At the end of the day, this is about my money. Even though Wale and Meek Mill are very different rappers, they both have their lanes and they both make money for MMG. So yeah, all that other shit that Meek Mill is talking, child, ain't nobody paying them no fucking attention. And that's how it should be. Rick Ross is very smart. Don't get involved in this shit. Keep it behind closed doors. If he could just get Meek Mill and Wale to understand that, we would be okay. Y'all let me know whose side you on. Isn't it a shame that we have to pick a side of people that are supposed to be in the same damn family? Leave your comments below. Guys, this rush card debacle. So I was going to talk about it last week and I was in a rush last week and I forgot to talk about it and I was like, damn, I wanted to talk about it, but I figured by this week it would be resolved. Well, it ain't resolved, so I get to talk about it now. So you guys know the rush card is a prepaid debit card where people are able to get their direct deposits loaded onto the card. They can get money loaded onto the card and they use it just like any other debit card would be used. And the rush card is owned by Russell Simmons. All the way up until now, Rush Card ain't been having no problems. And then over the Columbus Day weekend, they decided to do some sort of technical update to their computer system. And when that happened, all hell broke loose. Hundreds of thousands of people who have the Rush Card were not able to get access to their money. Not only were they not able to get access to their money, but they weren't able to get in touch with the Rush Card people. And everybody was just like, where the hell is my money? Okay, now, prepaid debit cards are these type of accounts that people have. They say they consider these people underbanked or unbanked. Okay, these are your lower income folks for the most part that make less than $15,000 a year. Okay, who definitely needs access to their money. I mean, who doesn't need access to their money, right? So there was frustration there. They weren't able to get in touch with any representatives of the Rush Card. It was getting worse and worse as the days go by. A week had passed. Finally, Russell Simmons put out a statement saying that they are working on it as hard as they can. They are sorry for any inconveniences. I'm thinking inconveniences. If I can't get to my fucking money, it is a goddamn problem. It ain't an inconvenience. There are people that rely on their money just like anybody else. When you think that you're talking about a group, a lower income group, who might not have, instances where they can go and borrow money from somebody else, this would definitely cause extreme problems. So like I said, this happened over the Columbus Day weekend. You guys remember, that's around October 9th, 10th. What are we on today? 21st, 22nd, somewhere in there. I've been reading about this story and hearing about it, you know. It's finally making it to the big news, because at first it wasn't really even on the big news. I was starting to worry if it was steering real close to some type of predatory banking. You know, just the fact that these people still hadn't had any resolution. I was wondering if it was even insured by the FDIC, but they say that the bank that actually backs this rush card is MetaBank, I think it's called. Yeah, MetaBank, which is an FDIC insured bank. So I guess in the long run, these people will definitely get their money back. But I don't even know if I feel comfortable with that, because when they say that they're having technical problems and that there's computer glitches and whatnot, is this shit even recording my fucking deposits and my transactions correctly? Is somebody gonna tell me that they don't have any type of record of my $500 damn deposit? Okay, so even though they keep on saying we're working on it, we're getting people, people are getting back access to their accounts day by day. For those who haven't gotten the answer, I still would be very concerned, because goddamn it, I want my money and I want all of it, and I want to make sure. And I kind of feel like I would want to sue, but here's the catch: they can't sue, because when they sign the contract paperwork for this rush card, somewhere in the fine print it says that they can't sue in situations like this. So these people's hands are tied, and it's just too bad all the way around. It's just too bad all the way around. Uncle Russ, motherfuckers need their money. They say that the people for the most part have gotten access to their money and that everything is back running, but there are still some people that haven't. They haven't said in exact numbers, but they said there are still quite a few people that don't have access to their money. So I mean, I'm just gonna keep my eye on it. Hey, I feel sorry for these people. I hope these people get access to their money soon. Russ, I'm gonna need you to do better. So Real Housewives of Atlanta is coming back in a couple of weeks. Can you believe it? We back on it already. As it gets closer and closer, they're going to be in the blogs more and more. The story this week is about Sheree Whitfield. You guys know that she was supposed to be a returning housewife on the show. And I was surprised that happened, because the way that shit was leaning, it wasn't looking like they was going to bring her back. She was wanting more money, and there was all these issues with, the contract and how much money she was going to get and all of that. Then all of a sudden they said, okay, she's coming back. Still didn't know if that meant in the capacity of having a peach, but that meant that she was definitely coming back to the show. We started seeing, her filming around Atlanta and seeing her in, little video clips and all. So it's okay, well, good for her. Let's hope that she plays this shit right. Then we had that little mess up when she was in Piedmont Park charging $5 for pictures. But we gonna let that slide. Maybe it was just a momentary lapse in judgment, even though that seems to be more than the norm for Sheree Whitfield. But now that the show is about to come back out, they say that she's definitely going to be on Real Housewives of Atlanta. However, not necessarily as a housewife. She doesn't have the peach. Looks like Sheree might have been played. So while Sheree was off of the show and trying to get her life together, they say that she became a real estate agent. She got a real estate license, and she pitched an idea to Carlos King. You guys know who Carlos King is. He is a producer on Real Housewives of Atlanta. She pitched the idea to him, and unbeknownst to her, he was shopping the idea around on the different networks. You guys know the Cutting It in ATL show. Well, evidently they're trying to make a brand of this. Cutting It in, whatever. Cutting It is gonna be the basic, and they gonna lag on the tag. They gonna tag on the lag. They gonna end up the tag with, what is the word I'm trying to say, you guys? They're gonna tag on the ending, that's what I'm trying to say, to whatever it is. So we had Cutting It in the ATL, that's a show about hairstylists in Atlanta. Now it's going to be Cutting It in Real Estate or some shit like that. Is that the name of the show? Y'all don't get the lie. I'll put it on the screen there. But anyway, it's a show on the same franchise. This time it's going to be about Atlanta real estate agents. So Carlos King was shopping the idea around. He got the idea picked up, and it is going to be, I believe, on WeTV. Now they're saying that he couldn't figure out how he was going to get this idea off the ground without Sheree Whitfield trying to sue him, because like I said, it was originally her idea. So this is when Carlos King supposedly told her, I'm gonna let you be on Real Housewives of Atlanta. Not only that, but I'm gonna give you executive producer credit on the show. So it was sort of like to shut her up. She seemed to be happy about that. I guess they signed whatever contracts they had to do, so she does get executive producer credit for it. But the problem here is now was she thought she was going to be a housewife. Now they're saying that no, she's not going to be a housewife, and that she's only probably going to be on like 10 episodes. You guys know that Real Housewives of Atlanta is somewhere around 400 episodes. So I guess she's on half of the show. Okay, so maybe she's going to be on the first half of the show and not the second. Like, I don't know how they're going to do. But I guess it is still kind of shady. It's fucked up what Carlos King did to her. Okay, I've heard some shit about Carlos King, that the nigga is backstabby. I don't want to, I ain't trying to, burn no bridges just in case Carlos out there want to work with your girl. It's definitely, that could happen. But, I guess you just got to know who you're dealing with. Sheree Whitfield, like I said, we all say that Sheree ain't been able to play the game, the best. And that's putting it real lightly. But well, let's see. We'll see what happens on the season. If she's able to make a big enough splash in this season, even in those 10 episodes or whatever she's in, and that she gets enough backing behind her, maybe it will help her chances of becoming an official housewife for the 9th season. But yeah, it's some bullshit there, Carlos. You ain't right. We gonna see what happens with cutting it in the Cutting it in the real estate, child. I don't know the name of it. We'll be watching all of the shows. I'm not reviewing Cutting It though. Over that series. Sorry. Master P's wife, Sonia. Sonia is suing Master P. You guys know that they have been going through a divorce for quite some time. I remember doing some top of the blogs a while ago talking about her drug problems and how Master P, just said that he had been trying to help her. It's time for the divorce now. Now is the issue of trying to figure out the money and who's supposed to split what, and if she's entitled to anything. Now, before we even get to the fact that Sonia might be a drug addict, let's talk about the legalities of what's happening here. So No Limit Records, she and Master P started this label back in whenever they started the damn label. I don't know if she is officially on the board or she's officially one of the owners. However, she was married to Master P at the time when it started, all the way up until it became what it was, this big thing where he was making the money and all of that. She definitely was there from fruition up until now. They say that No Limit Records has now become No Limit Forever. Master P and his business people, he has been advised, I guess, to start a new label, which for all intents and purposes is still No Limit Records. However, they've changed it and they've made Little Romeo and Master P the owners of that label. So now everything, I guess, instead of it being funneled through No Limit Records, it's going through No Limit Forever. Sonia has been kind of taken out of that equation because she's not part of No Limit Forever. Sonia's whole thing is, goddamn it, I still am owed money from No Limit Records, and this is just a ploy for them to try to keep me from getting to my money. So if I got to sue every fucking body, then that's what the hell I'm gonna do. Okay, so Little Romeo, I'm sorry to my baby, okay, but I'm at to sue your motherfucking ass. Yeah, Sonia is now suing her son, which is really, really terrible, because once you get your kids involved, it's bad. But her son is grown now, so it's not like we can say that he's being, he might still be being taken advantage of by his dad, but it's just too bad that it's got to this point, because now the whole family is probably gonna get fucked up and torn up from all this. They got drama. Y'all remember all that shit about the damn daughter being kidnapped? They couldn't find her, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, we found her. It's all good. Don't nobody else worry about it. Okay, but there's some shit going on there. Definitely going on in the Master P's Sonia family, okay? But do I feel like this woman is entitled to this money? Even if she's a drug addict, you guys, the woman is still entitled to whatever money she's supposed to get from this relationship. They were married. They did this shit together. And now you can't just scooch somebody out their fucking money because they have a drug problem. If they have a drug problem, that's real, real sad. And we can almost probably guarantee where this money is going to go when they get it, but they are still entitled to whatever is theirs. So I think that, Sonia has a case here, but it's going to come down to whether or not this woman can afford to defend herself. Master P is this multimillionaire and has access to all of these lawyers who are able to lawyer you to death, she may not be able to survive. And if she don't have access to this money, I mean, you know, people only gonna work on promises so long, and then it's gonna be like, look, I needs my money, or I can't represent you. So it's probably not gonna work out in her favor. But if she's able to, you know, to just keep it together, you know, I think that she has a very legitimate case there. In my uninformed, you know, legal speak type of self. But you guys let me know what you think about it. I mean, it's kind of fucked up what Master P is doing. I mean, we don't know all of the ins and outs of everything, but it sure do sound like he trying to get this money away from this girl and hiding it behind the fact that she has a drug problem. I mean, she probably does have a drug problem. Sonya don't look as good as she used to. Let me tell you, I saw Sonya in the airport in LAX one year. This bitch was bad. Oh my God. Okay, she had her cute little fluffy dogs on her leash, and she had the damn people helping her get her bags. And when I tell you, she had fucking just loads of Louis Vuitton. I mean, they was piled on top of each other on the rolling cart. And I was like, that bitch is fucking bad. I mean, doing it. And it was a whole bunch of people, but they all, I mean, she looked really, really good. So it's sad that it's gone from that to this. But, you know, it happens. It happens. So we just gonna pray that Sonya is getting her life together, and that the stress of trying to get, you know, fight for her fucking money don't push her even further down that drug road, if that's what it is. But, yeah, y'all tell me what y'all think. It sounds like Master P trying to fuck her out of money. What y'all think? Is that what y'all think too? Alright, you guys, and then in quickies, Amber Rose is mad at GQ magazine because she did an interview with them where she was very passionate talking about the slut walk. She's talking about her book that she's written called How to Be a Bad Bitch and other endeavors that she has. And when GQ magazine put the interview out, they made it more about her being the ex-girlfriend. I think what they said was she was the most famous ex-girlfriend in rap history. Talked about her being Kanye's ex, Wiz Khalifa's baby mama, and she's pissed off. She says, I'm so much fucking more than that. Thank you for nothing. I guess I can understand why Amber Rose is upset, but Amber Rose comes with a stigma that is going to be so hard to shake. I'm not saying that she can't do it, but it's going to be a lot of work. And maybe this is just the road that she has to take before people start to really take her seriously and the things that she's done outside of being this ex-girlfriend. But you know, it's like people read sensational shit. We hear artists complaining about these interviews all the time, how people take what they say and then make it whatever they want it to be. That's why a lot of them don't do these interviews anymore. Yeah, she was just kind of like, fuck you, GQ magazine. I haven't read the whole entire article. I've just seen bits and pieces of it, so I don't know. But you guys, hey, y'all think that it was pretty fucked up of GQ to use it like that, or are they just doing business as usual? The Ebony magazine cover with the Cosby Show family on there with the shattered in front of it. I don't know how I feel about the cover. I mean, Bill Cosby has brought all this shit upon himself, so it's unfortunate that the Cosby Show, which was an excellent television show, was such a gigantic leap for black television that it has to get sucked under all of the shit with Bill Cosby, but it was inevitable. So while Ebony did put that on their cover, and maybe it's kind of even furthering the negative connotation and kind of connecting Bill Cosby to the Cosby Show, I mean, what can we do? It's just unfortunate that all of that shit even happened, but I get it. We got magazines to sell, just like I just told you about GQ magazine. They can't worry themselves about it. Niggas shouldn't have raped everybody. Erykah Badu is going to be the Soul Train Awards host. It's going to be taped on November 6th, and it's going to air on the 29th on Centric and BET. They say that they'll be honoring Babyface with the Legend Award and Jill Scott with the very first annual Lady of Soul Award. So it should be something interesting to look at. I was looking at the damn nominees, though, and I was just like, The Weeknd, Beyonce, Bruno Mars, Jadena, Big Sean, D'Angelo, Chris Brown. Look, some of those people definitely belong in there for this, whole soul thing, but Bruno Mars and Weeknd, I mean, is he considered soulful? That shit is almost alternative hip-hop. Like, I don't know if I can, maybe. Shit still sounds like pop to me. I mean, it seems like they just kind of decided to honor big names to try to draw people in. It's sort of like a double-edged sword. They want people to watch. You don't want to see no old motherfuckers out there that, nobody cares about. But there's quite a bit of music. There's a lot of people in R&B right now that's making R&B music that's still not getting the shine that they should. So, but you know, Soul Train, I mean, who the fuck cares at the end of the day? Like, who, you know, is it that important? But maybe it is. I don't know. I just feel like if it's going to be more about soul music and R&B music, then, you know, maybe we need to reflect that a little bit more in the nominees. That's all. The Hotline Bling video is very cute, you guys. I watched it. I love the song. I think it's real cute. The video, Drake dancing around, is cute too. Okay, look, Drake can't do no wrong right now. He is the it man. Him dancing around and doing whatever the fuck he is. And what's even funnier is the goddamn memes, you guys. Oh my god. I was looking at Chocolate Tress's Instagram yesterday and she had a damn meme of him playing tennis. But it's been a whole bunch. Him dancing, salsa music. They changed the music around. They got Drake always on beat and all of that shit. So yeah, real cute. They say that it's breaking the internet. Have you guys seen the video? I did get a little giggle off of it. And lastly, Oprah. Your girl Oprah bought 10% of the Weight Watchers stock and that shit shot up like crazy. I think they said 105%. Closed at almost $14, and that was a $70 million deal that Oprah made in one day. Yeah, Oprah said she gonna buy into the company, she's gonna be on the board, and that she's gonna be a part of this new, you know, this jump start for Weight Watchers. They say that Weight Watchers lost almost 75% of its value in 2015, even with J Hood and all of that. The shit has just kind of slid on down. Okay, so they hoping that Oprah will be the name, the brand that brings some spunk back to Weight Watchers. Will you now be joining Weight Watchers now that Oprah is on? Alright, you guys, getting glistening. I guess I need to get off of here. And we do this every single week. Make sure that you rate, comment, and subscribe, and make sure that you come back. Until next time, Roxstars. Bye.